everyone, welcome to Photoplay's YouTube channel and welcome back to Tuesdays with Tina. Today we are using once more the Travel Junque Collection for Photoplay Paper. We're going to be using one sheet of pattern paper in here, and then we're also going to be using a sticker, but we're going to use the stamp set also that coordinates with the Photoplay Paper's Travel Junque. This is a fun stamp set. It's quality photopolymer. We're going to be using this on our card, and then we're also going to be using some ephemera. Let's jump in and get started. We're going to be doing some stamping. We're going to stamp travel 5 times on this piece of cardstock. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I thought we would do multiple tones of the word travel for our background, creating a background with it. I picked out some colors here. These are distressed oxide inks. I have fossilized amber, vintage photo, iced spruce, ground espresso, and tea dye. For the most part, I tried to pick colors that coordinated with this pattern paper. This pattern paper is the luggage sheet, and we're just going to create a background with this. So I think these colors go really good with it. So go through your inks, find some similar colors to that pattern paper, and it will work just as fabulous. Let's take the word travel. I placed the word travel on my white cardstock towards the bottom. You just want to make sure it's centered. Then I'll pick this up. And then we're going to start with our first color, which will be tea dye. This is, I would call it a taupe. We will ink this up and stamp this on the bottom. I'm going to wipe off my stamp, and then we're going to lower this. I'm going to just close the lid and see if I can line this up, and I think that's going to work out great. So for my next color, we're going to use a dark brown ink. This is ground espresso. Let's go ahead and add this. We're going to use the iced spruce for our next color. We will lower this once more. My next color is vintage photo, which is a lighter brown. Go ahead and stamp this. This last one I have to go off the edge just a little bit, but as long as this is flush, I think we can do this. I'm going to use fossilized amber. And I think that's going to make a great background. Now I'm going to take my panel. I'm going to keep this out because we're going to do a little bit more stamping. But what I'm going to do is trim a little bit off the left here. And I'm going to trim a little bit off the right. And then I'll take a little bit off the top, kind of even it out a little bit. I think that evened it out quite a bit. Wonderful. Now I'm going to take this panel, we're going to put it back in the stamping positioner, and we're going to do a little bit more stamping. Inside our stamp set we have this cute little airplane that's leaving a heart trail. I'm going to take this. I want it to really show up, so I'm going to use a black ink and go over that. We'll go ahead and stamp this. I think that top corner is going to look great. We'll go ahead and stamp this. And we'll stamp this one more, and we'll stamp this one more time over here on the right side. Wonderful. We're going to do a little bit more stamping. So in our stamp set we have our little passport and our airplane ticket. We're going to stamp this along with our little location. We're going to stamp this also. we're just going to ink this up with the black ink. We'll stamp this. Lovely. And then for this one, I'm going to take my scissors and fussy cut around it. Now I trimmed down a piece of our pattern paper. This measures our card front size, which we have a side folding card front. This measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Before we adhere this to the front of our card base, I do want to ink the edges. So I'm going to bring in that espresso ink, and we're going to add some inking along the edges. And then I'll use my glue, and we're going to add this to the very front of our card base. Now we're going to take our stamped panel. We're going to add this to the front of our card. Lovely. And then I went through our ephemera pack. There was lots in here, and I chose these pieces from our ephemera pack. What I'm going to do is take my ink, and I'm going to go around the edges of this also. All of our ephemera pieces. We're going to give these a little vintage look. Now that all of our edges are inked up, we're going to create a pile or a little cluster here. I'm going to add this piece to the little ticket. And then we have our little file tab. I'm going to add a little glue up here. We're going to add our file tab here. And we're going to layer this on the vellum circle. It's going to separate this piece from this piece. So I'm just going to use my tape runner, and we'll tack this down here. With this piece, I'm going to pop up with some foam, and this is going to go down here on the bottom corner. I went ahead and put some foam tape behind here. We're going to remove the release paper, and I'm going to add this at an angle across both of these. And then I'm going to take this panel, we're going to put adhesive behind here, and we're going to tack this right in the center of our card. Once this is tacked down, we're going to take our little globe from our sticker sheet, and I like to layer it directly over this globe. Now this globe is a little bit bigger, and that's okay because we have these little passports that we can tuck under there. And then we have our little location marker that we're going to add to our globe. Wonderful. We're doing lots of layering today. And then for the top of my globe, we're going to bring in our Epoxy Shapes. And we are going to add one of these to our globe. It's just going to give it dimension. It's actually the perfect size. Look at. Lovely. And then I'm going to bring in one of these iridescent stars, and I'm going to add it to my location. I think it's going to be the perfect size. We will tack that down. So we have a little dimension there. And that finishes off my card project today using the Photoplay Paper Travel Junque stamp set. A few pieces from the 12 by 12 collection, and also some ephemera. Hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.